Hey everyone. So it seems like a lot of you are interested in AI stocks. And I don't blame you, especially with everything that's been going on in the markets lately. We found this really interesting article from The Motley Fool. It's called 2 Reasons the Tech Sell-Off Could Be a Great Buying Opportunity for AI Stock Investors. And it was published pretty recently, on March 9, 2025. So I was thinking, is this dip a chance to buy in at a discount? Or is this the start of the 8A bar major tech crash? The article mentions some pretty wild stuff too, like Nasdaq Q was down almost 10%. Nvidia's revenue grew something like 78% last quarter, and they're projecting 65% growth for the next one. And they even compare investing in AI right now to the mobile revolution back in the day. To help us break all of this down, we have our amazing expert on all things market trends and AI.
Well, I have to say, the timing of this article is really interesting. The Nasdaq Q is very close to a correction, which is a 10% drop from recent highs. And this article comes out and says, hey, maybe this is actually a good time to buy AI stocks. It's a pretty contrarian take for sure.
Yeah. And what really stood out to me was that thing about Nvidia. Their revenue growth is huge, 78% last quarter. And they're forecasting 65% for the next. But their stock is down 25% from its high. It just makes you think, is the market missing something here?
Well, that is the question, isn't it? I think to understand it, we really need to look at what's causing this sell-off. The Motley Fool points to those new tariffs on Canada and Mexico, and they say those could really impact the whole tech sector.
So you're saying it's not just the cost of the tariffs,
Yeah.
but they mess up the entire supply chain.
Exactly. You got it. When businesses have to pay more, their profits go down. And that makes investors nervous. We're already seeing some signs of that. Some of the chip manufacturers who get parts from those countries are starting to feel it. And this uncertainty can lead to investors pulling out their money, especially when stock valuations are high like they are now in tech.
I see. That makes sense. And the article mentions that those high valuations make the market, really sensitive to any bad news.
Right. Think of it this way. A high valuation means the price of a stock is high compared to how much money the company is making. It's almost like the market is assuming the company will grow a ton in the future. So any little problem like tariffs or the economy slowing down, even just investors feeling less confident, all that can make that price drop really fast.
So it's kind of like a house of cards.
Yeah, exactly like that.
One shaky card can bring the whole thing down.
You got it. And that's what makes all this so tricky right now. We have the sell-off happening because people are scared. But at the same time, you have these big tech companies like Microsoft, Alphabet, even Meta, and they are spending more on AI infrastructure, like billions of dollars more. They're investing a ton, even though the market is freaking out.
It's really interesting. They're doubling down like they know something we don't. The article compares this to the mobile revolution and how companies that didn't invest, like Microsoft actually, totally missed out. Do you think that comparison makes sense?
I think it's a really good comparison, actually. It could be a similar situation with AI. All these companies are in this huge race to develop the best AI systems, especially in that whole pursuit of AGI, artificial general intelligence. They obviously think AI is going to be so huge that it doesn't matter if the market is a bit shaky right now.
AGI, so that's the next level of AI, right? Like machines that think and learn like us. It sounds like something out of a movie. I mean, is that really achievable? How are these companies even trying to get there?
Oh, it's definitely still being researched, but the progress they've made in the past few years is unbelievable. Different companies are taking different approaches. Some, like Google's DeepMind, are working on algorithms that learn from massive amounts of data. Others, like OpenAI, are looking at techniques like reinforcement learning, where the AI learns by trying things out and seeing what works. It's a super exciting field, and the things they could do with it are mind-blowing.
Okay, so we've got this sell-off happening.
Yeah.
But the big players are still betting big on AI. So for people like me who are just regular investors, is now a good time to buy, or is it too risky?
Well, the Motley Fool says that this sell-off is happening because people are worried about things in the short term. But it actually creates a really good opportunity for people who see the long-term potential of AI. They use Nvidia as an example. Even though their stock is down 25%, their price-to-earnings ratio is 26, which is basically the same as the average for the S&P 500. And considering how fast they are growing, that suggests that their stock is actually underpriced right now. But you have to look at more than just the numbers. You need to think about their actual AI strategy and if they have an advantage over their competitors.
Well, they're the top provider of GPUs, right? And those are like the brains of AI systems. Their CEDA platform is basically the standard for developing and using AI. But there are other companies competing with them, right?
Oh, for sure. Google, for example, has been developing their own AI chips called TPUs. Those are designed specifically for machine learning. And other companies like Intel and AMD are also getting into the AI chip market. But Nvidia isn't just sitting around. They keep innovating, making their GPUs faster, and developing special software tools for people who develop AI. It's a really fast-moving market, which makes it really exciting for investors.
So even with a company like Nvidia that's doing really well, there's still a lot to consider. The article also talks about Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, or TSMC. They're the world's biggest chip maker, and they're down 18% from their highs. But they're still making a lot of money. What really stood out to me is that they're planning to invest $100 billion to build new chip factories here in the U.S. Why would they invest that much, especially with all the uncertainty in the market right now?
TSMC is making a really smart move here. They're based in Taiwan, and that's become a bit of a geopolitical hotspot. By building factories in the U.S., they're spreading out their operations and getting closer to one of the biggest markets for AI chips. This could make them the main supplier for the big tech companies that are driving all this AI development.
It's crazy how these companies are dealing with all the global politics and still betting so much on AI. It makes you realize that investing isn't just about numbers. You have to understand the big picture. But let's be honest, not all AI companies are created equal. How do we separate the hype from the reality? The companies that will actually succeed from the ones that will fail.
That's where research comes in. You have to look beyond the stock price and really dig into specific companies. What technologies are they working on? Who are their competitors? How good is their management team? You have to ask all those questions before investing in anything.
So it's like being a detective, trying to find the hidden gems that other people are missing.
Exactly, you got it. It's about looking past the headlines and understanding what's really going on. It's like panning for gold. You have to sift through a lot of dirt to find those nuggets.
And with AI, it feels like there's a lot of dirt to sift through right now. The article even said that some AI stocks are down more than the Nasdaq Q. Does that mean they're a good deal?
Not always, no. Just because a stock is cheaper doesn't mean it's a good investment. Sometimes a stock is down for a good reason. Maybe their technology isn't as good as they said it was. Or their management team isn't doing a good job. You have to do your research. Look at the company's financials, their competitors, their overall health.
So we need to be smart investors, not just bargain hunters. But for someone like me who's not a financial expert, how do I even start to evaluate a company's AI strategy? It all seems so complicated.
It might seem overwhelming, but it's not as hard as you think. Start by looking at what problems their AI is trying to solve. Is it something that has real-world applications? Or is it just a fancy idea with no substance? Look at who they're working with, who their customers are, what their plans for the future are.
So look for real signs that they're making progress and not just making promises.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to look at the company's official documents, news articles, even social media to see what people are saying about them. Remember, it's like detective work.
You're making me feel like Sherlock Holmes of the stock market. But getting back to the long game, the article says that the AI revolution is not a quick thing. How should investors approach this, knowing that there will be ups and downs along the way?
That's a really important point. AI is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be times when the market goes up and down, times when there are breakthroughs and times when there are setbacks. Don't panic if the stock price goes down in the short term, if you believe in the company's long-term potential.
This reminds me of what we were saying about those big tech companies investing so much in AI. It's like they're so scared of being left behind that they'd rather spend billions now, but they can maybe make trillions later.
Yeah, that's a great point. It shows how seriously they're taking this whole AI thing. They know the world is changing fast, and if they don't adapt, they'll be left in the dust.
And that's not just a problem for tech companies. Remember what happened to Blockbuster when they ignored streaming? They basically laughed Netflix out of the room.
Exactly. If companies ignore big technological changes, they can disappear completely. And for investors, it means you have to stay informed and be open to new ideas.
So investing in AI isn't just about picking stocks. It's about understanding how technology is changing the world and making sure your investments are aligned with the future you believe in. But I have to be honest, a part of me still thinks it is all just hype. Remember the dot-com bubble? How do we know that AI isn't just another bubble that's going to burst?
That's a good question. There's definitely a lot of hype around AI, no doubt about it. But I think there are some big differences between now and those past tech bubbles. First of all, AI isn't just some theoretical idea anymore. It's already having a real impact on our lives.
That's true. I use AI every day without even realizing it. My phone unlocks with my face, my spam filter actually works, and my music app seems to know my taste better than I do.
Exactly. AI is already a part of our daily routines, and it's only going to become more integrated into our lives. We're on the verge of some major breakthroughs in things like self-driving cars, personalized medicine, even smart cities.
So it's not like those past hype cycles where everything was just promises. AI is already producing real results.
Right, and it's creating real economic value. Companies are using AI to make their operations more efficient, to create new products, and to gain an advantage over their competitors. We're seeing real profits, not just inflated valuations.
Okay, that's good to hear. But what about that AI arms race the article talked about? Doesn't all that competition make it hard for any one company to really dominate the market?
That's a great observation. The AI landscape is definitely more spread out than it was back when companies like Microsoft and Google were just starting out. It's unlikely that any single company will become the king of AI.
So it's not a winner-takes-all situation.
Exactly. The AI market is more specialized, with different companies focusing on different areas like chips, software, robotics, healthcare, and so on.
So it's less like a monopoly and more like a mosaic.
I like that. A mosaic of innovation. And for investors, that means diversification is super important. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your investments across different companies and different areas within AI.
So don't bet everything on one horse, especially in a field that's changing so quickly.
Exactly. And that brings us back to something we talked about earlier, learning from history. If this AI revolution is really as big as the mobile revolution or the internet revolution, what can we learn from those past experiences?
It's like looking at a map before you go on a trip. Knowing the terrain can help you avoid problems and find the best route.
Exactly. Looking at those historical parallels can give us valuable insights into where AI might be headed. What were the big turning points? Who were the winners and losers? How did the market change over time?
That's a whole other deep dive in itself. Where do we even begin to unravel all of that history?
There are tons of resources out there, books, articles, documentaries. We can look at the history of computing, the rise of the internet, the impact of personal computers, even the invention of the telephone.
Wow, so much to learn and so little time. But I'm already feeling inspired to do some reading. Who knows what hidden patterns or insights we might find.
That's the spirit. And remember, the more we learn about the past, the better prepared we'll be for the future.
Speaking of the future, I have one more question that's been bugging me. With all the uncertainty around AI, what are some things we should be watching closely in the coming months and years? What could signal a big change in the landscape?
That's a really important question. It's impossible to predict the future with certainty, but there are definitely some key indicators we can watch.
Okay, give me your top 3. What should be on our AI radar?
First, keep an eye on how quickly the technology is advancing. Is AI still developing at a rapid pace? Are we seeing big breakthroughs in areas like natural language processing, computer vision, and robotics, or is progress slowing down?
So basically, track the momentum of AI research and development. If innovation stalls, that could be a bad sign.
Exactly. It could make investors less excited and slow down the adoption of AI across different industries.
Okay, what's the second thing to watch?
Regulation. Governments around the world are trying to figure out how to deal with the implications of AI, and their decisions will have a big impact on the industry. Think about things like data privacy, algorithmic bias, the potential for job losses. These are all really important issues.
So if regulations become too strict, could that stifle innovation and hurt AI companies?
It's definitely a possibility. Finding the right balance between encouraging innovation and protecting people from potential risks will be crucial.
That makes sense. What's the third thing we should be paying attention to?
The competitive landscape. Are new players emerging? Are the existing players consolidating their power? Are there any new technologies on the horizon that could disrupt the whole industry?
So it's like a game of chess, watching how the pieces are moving and trying to predict what will happen next.
You got it. The AI market is still pretty young, and things are constantly changing. Staying informed is crucial for making good investment decisions.
So we have technological innovation, regulation, and competition, our 3 key indicators to track. But how do we actually stay on top of all of this? What are some reliable sources of information?
There are lots of ways to stay in the loop. Follow industry publications like Wired, MIT Technology Review, and The Information. Go to conferences and webinars. Listen to insightful podcasts like this one.
Hey, that's us. Glad to be a part of the AI knowledge ecosystem.
And don't underestimate the power of networking. Connect with experts and thought leaders on social media, participate in online discussions, and always be learning.
It sounds like to stay ahead of the curve in AI, you need to constantly be learning and exploring.
Absolutely, and that's what makes it so exciting. Being an informed investor isn't just about picking stocks, it's about understanding the forces that are shaping the future and making decisions that align with your vision.
It's like being an explorer, charting new territories and discovering hidden treasures. And in the case of AI, those treasures could be game changers for humanity.
I love that analogy. It really captures the sense of possibility that surrounds AI. It's a field full of challenges, no doubt, but also full of potential to solve problems and make the world a better place.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation. I feel like I have a completely new perspective on the tech sell-off and the potential opportunities in AI stocks. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and making this complex topic so easy to understand.
It's been my pleasure. I always enjoy talking about the transformative power of AI.
So there you have it, folks, a deep dive into the world of AI stocks and the forces that are shaping their future. We've covered a lot of ground today, but as always, the exploration continues.
Don't stop here. Keep researching, keep asking questions, keep learning.
And most importantly, don't let the fear of the unknown hold you back from exploring the incredible potential of AI.
Remember, the more you learn, the more empowered you become.
Now, before we wrap up, we want to leave you with one final thought to ponder.
We've talked about the mobile revolution and the internet revolution as potential parallels to the AI revolution. But what other historical tech shifts might offer insights into the trajectory of AI and its impact on the market?
What can we learn from the rise of personal computers, or even the invention of the telephone?
Maybe the answers to those questions hold the key to unlocking the next wave of innovation and opportunity.
So keep digging, keep learning, and keep your eyes on the horizon.
The future of AI is waiting to be discovered.
You know, it's funny. We started this deep dive talking about a tech sell-off, almost like it was a bad thing. But the more we've explored this, the more it feels like an opportunity in disguise.
It's all about perspective. The sell-off is happening because of short-term worries, but the real story is the underlying transformation that AI is driving. Companies are getting ready for long-term success.
It's like those scenes in superhero movies where the hero gets knocked down, and everyone thinks it's over, but then they get back up, stronger than before.
I like that analogy. And that's the feeling I get from these big tech companies. They're not afraid of the challenge, they're embracing it.
So, for someone like me who's a little intimidated by AI, but also excited by the possibilities, what's the main takeaway?
Don't let fear stop you. AI might seem complicated, but it's more accessible than you think. Start by getting familiar with the basics, and then look at how AI is already affecting your life.
And remember, don't get caught up in the hype. Look for companies with solid foundations, like strong leadership, innovative products, and a clear path to making money.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to think long-term. The AI revolution is still in its early stages, and patience is key.
It's like planting a seed. You take care of it, you give it time to grow, and eventually it produces something amazing.
And with AI, that something amazing could be huge. It could change entire industries, solve global problems, and create a better future for everyone.
So let's raise a glass to the future of AI, a future full of challenges, but also full of incredible possibilities.
Cheers to that, and cheers to all of you for joining us on this journey of discovery.
And remember, if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe to our show and tell your friends about it.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating exploration of the world around us.
Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking questions.
Because the more you know, the more empowered you become. Hashtag TTS, the Deep Dive episode 2025-0309, part 2 of 3.
Exactly. It's about looking beyond those headlines and kind of, figuring out what's really going on underneath.
Yeah, and with AI, it does feel like there's a lot to unpack right now. The article even mentions that some AI stocks are down even more than the Nasdaq as a whole. Does that automatically make them a bargain, though?
Well, not necessarily. Just because a stock's price is down doesn't mean it's a good deal.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a reason a stock is struggling. Maybe their tech isn't as revolutionary as they claimed, or maybe their management team isn't that strong. It's important to do your research. Look at the company's financials, their competition, and just, their overall health. Right, so we need to be like savvy investors, not just bargain hunters. But for someone like me, who's not, a financial expert, how do I even begin to evaluate a company's AI strategy?
It doesn't have to be as overwhelming as it seems, honestly. A good place to start is by looking at what problems their AI is actually trying to solve. Are they focused on something with real-world applications, or are they kind of chasing a pie-in-the-sky idea? Look at their partnerships, their client base, and their plans for the future.
So look for real signs of progress and not just, promises and hype.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to dig into those company filings, read news articles, even check out social media to see what people are saying about them. It's all part of the detective work, remember?
I'm starting to feel like the Sherlock Holmes of the stock market now. But, speaking of the long game, the article really emphasizes that the AI revolution is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
That's a really crucial point. There will be market swings, unexpected breakthroughs, and even setbacks along the way. The key is not to panic over short-term dips if you truly believe in the company's long-term potential.
This reminds me of what we were talking about earlier with those big tech companies pouring money into AI. They seem terrified of being left behind, like they'd rather spend billions now to maybe make trillions later.
That's a great observation. It shows how seriously they're taking this shift. They understand the world is changing rapidly, and those who fail to adapt risk becoming obsolete.
It's like what happened to Blockbuster when they ignored the rise of streaming.
Exactly. Ignoring technological shifts can be fatal for any business. And for investors, it's a reminder to stay informed and be open to new possibilities.
So investing in AI isn't just about picking stocks. It's about understanding how technology is reshaping the world and aligning your portfolio with the future you believe in. But a part of me still wonders, is this all just hype? Like, remember the dot-com bubble? How can we be sure AI isn't just another bubble waiting to burst?
That's a valid concern for sure. There's definitely a lot of hype surrounding AI, but I see some fundamental differences compared to past tech bubbles. For one thing, AI isn't just a theoretical concept anymore. It's already having a tangible impact on our lives.
True. I mean, I use AI every day without even thinking about it. My phone unlocks with my face. My spam filter actually works. My music app seems to know my taste better than I do.
Exactly. AI is already embedded in our daily routines, and that impact is only going to grow. We're on the cusp of even more transformative breakthroughs in areas like self-driving cars, personalized medicine, even smart cities.
So unlike some past hype cycles, AI is delivering real-world results. It's not just a promise of future potential. It's actually happening now.
Right, and that's driving real economic value. Companies are using AI to streamline their operations, create new products, and gain a competitive edge. We're seeing real profits, not just speculative valuations.
Okay, that's reassuring. But what about the AI arms race the article mentioned? Doesn't all this competition make it harder for any one company to dominate the market?
That's a sharp observation. The AI landscape is much more fragmented than, say, the early days of Microsoft or Google. It's unlikely any one company will become the sole ruler of the AI kingdom.
So it's not a winner-take-all scenario.
Exactly. The AI market is more specialized with different companies focusing on different areas, chips, software, robotics, healthcare, and so on.
So it's less like a monopoly and more like a mosaic.
I like that, a mosaic of innovation. And for investors, that means diversification is key. Spread your bets across different companies and different areas of AI.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, especially in a field as rapidly evolving as this one.
Exactly. And that brings us back to something we touched upon earlier, learning from history. If the AI revolution is truly on par with the mobile revolution or the internet revolution, what can we glean from those past experiences?
It's like studying a map before embarking on a journey now. Knowing the terrain can help you avoid pitfalls and find the best route.
Precisely looking at those historical parallels can offer valuable insights into the potential trajectory of AI. What were the major turning points? Who are the winners and losers? How did the market evolve over time?
That's a whole other deep dive in itself. Where do we even begin to untangle that historical web?
Well, there's a wealth of resources out there. Books, articles, documentaries. We can look at the history of computing, the rise of the internet, the impact of personal computers, even the early days of the telephone.
So much to learn, so little time. But you got me feeling inspired to hit the books.
That's the spirit. And remember, the more we learn about the past, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the future.
Speaking of navigating the future, I have one more question that's been nagging at me. Given all the uncertainty surrounding AI, what are some key factors we should be watching closely in the coming months and years? What might signal a shift in the landscape?
That's a crucial question. While predicting the future is impossible, we can certainly identify some key indicators to monitor.
Okay, hit me with your top three. What should be on our AI radar?
First, keep a close eye on the pace of technological innovation. Is AI continuing to advance rapidly? Are we seeing those groundbreaking developments in natural language processing, computer vision, robotics? Or is progress slowing down?
So basically, monitor the momentum of AI research and development. If innovation stalls, that could be a red flag.
Exactly. It could dampen investor enthusiasm and slow down the adoption of AI across industries.
Okay, what's the second factor to watch?
Regulation governments around the world are grappling with the implications of AI, and their decisions will have a significant impact on the industry. Think data privacy, algorithmic bias, potential job displacement. These are all hot-button issues.
So if regulations become too burdensome, could that stifle innovation and hinder AI companies?
It's definitely a possibility. Finding the right balance between fostering innovation and protecting society from potential risks will be crucial.
Makes sense. What's the third thing we should be watching?
The competitive landscape.
Yeah.
Are new players emerging? Are existing players consolidating their power? Are there any disruptive technologies on the horizon that could shake things up?
So it's like playing a strategic game of chess, watching how the pieces are moving and anticipating the next move.
Precisely. The AI market is still relatively young, and the dynamics are constantly evolving. Staying informed is key to making informed investment decisions.
So we've got technological innovation, regulation, and competition are three key indicators to track. But how do we actually keep tabs on all of this? What are some reliable sources of information?
Oh, there are plenty of ways to stay in the loop. Follow industry publications like Wired MIT Technology Review and The Information. Attend conferences and webinars. Listen to insightful podcasts like this one.
Hey, that's us. Glad to be a part of the AI knowledge ecosystem.
And don't underestimate the power of networking. Connect with experts and thought leaders on social media, engage in online discussions, and be a constant learner.
It sounds like staying ahead of the curve in AI requires continuous learning and exploration.
Absolutely, but that's what makes it so exciting. Being an informed investor is about more than just picking stocks. It's about understanding the forces shaping the future and making decisions that align with your vision.
It's like being an explorer, charting new territories and uncovering hidden treasures. And in the case of AI, those treasures could be game changers for humanity.
I love that analogy. It captures the spirit of possibility that surrounds AI. It's a field full of challenges for sure, but also brimming with potential to solve problems and create a better world.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful conversation. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on the tech sell-off and the potential opportunities in AI stocks. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and making this complex topic so accessible.
My pleasure. It's always rewarding to discuss the transformative power of AI.
So there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the world of AI stocks and the forces shaping their future. We've covered a lot of ground, but as always, the exploration continues.
Don't stop here. Keep researching. Keep asking questions. Keep learning.
And most importantly, don't let the fear of the unknown hold you back from exploring the incredible potential of AI.
Remember, the more you learn, the more empowered you become.
Now, before we wrap up, we want to leave you with a final thought to ponder.
We've talked about the mobile revolution and the internet revolution as potential parallels to the AI revolution. But what other historical tech shifts might offer insights into the trajectory of AI and its impact on the market?
What can we learn from the rise of personal computers, or even the invention of the telephone?
Perhaps the answers to those questions hold the key to unlocking the next wave of innovation and opportunity.
So keep digging, keep learning, and keep your eyes on the horizon.
The future of AI is waiting to be discovered. Hashtag TTS, The Deep Dive, episode 2025-03-09, part 3 of 3.
Wow, as we're wrapping up this deep dive, I'm really struck by how much our perspective has shifted. We started off feeling kind of cautious, even a little worried about this tech sell-off. But now I actually feel a sense of excitement, like this could be a really good opportunity.
It's amazing how digging deeper into something can change how you see it, isn't it? We've peeled back all those layers of fear and uncertainty, and now we see all this potential.
It's like the clouds have cleared and we can finally see the sunrise. All those worries about the market going up and down seem so small now, compared to all the possibilities of AI.
Yeah, we talked about what's causing this sell-off, but we also saw how the big players are getting ready for a future powered by AI. They're not just riding out the storm, they're using it to their advantage.
So for someone like me who's just starting to think about investing in AI, what's the most important thing I should take away from all of this?
I'd say don't let fear or complexity hold you back. AI might seem intimidating at first, but it's more accessible than you think. Start by learning the basics and then look at how AI is already a part of your life.
So step 1 is to demystify AI. Step 2 is to recognize it's already here. What's step 3?
Step 3 is to start looking for opportunities. Research companies that are developing AI technologies you find interesting or that align with your values. Look for those hidden gems that other people might be missing because of all the market chaos.
And like we talked about, don't just go for whatever's hyped up the most. Look for companies with strong leadership, innovative products, and a clear plan for making money.
You got it. And remember, patience is key. The AI revolution is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't get discouraged by short-term ups and downs. Focus on the long game.
It's like planting a seed, right? You nurture it, you give it time, and eventually it grows into something amazing.
Exactly, and with AI, that something amazing could be huge. It could change entire industries, solve some of the world's biggest problems, and create a better future for all of us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's raise a toast to the future of AI. A future full of challenges, yes, but also full of amazing possibilities.
Cheers to that, and cheers to everyone listening who's joining us on this journey.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to our show and tell your friends about it.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating look at the world around us.
Until then, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep asking questions.
Because the more you know, the more empowered you become.